Moved it. That's well, I know you did on purpose there. So yeah, we're on. Okay, so good morning, everybody watching on YouTube. Good morning to Katie and Hal. So Judy and Laura are not here today, but I hope everybody is feeling good. Yeah, even though the weather is a little bit cloudy and cold. But yeah, hopefully everybody's feeling happy and peaceful in our heart. Well, the topic that I choose for today is about suffering. Now the name of this center is Nirodha, and Nirodha means the end of suffering, right? And why I choose this topic is because, yesterday I had a conversation with a patient of mine who is Iranian, and it reminds me of what's going on in the world today, and has been for the last couple of weeks or so. And there is so much suffering out there. Even us, not being affected directly by the war, but indirectly, we are suffering inside also because we worry for the people, and we worry for our future and that kind of thing. But, talking about suffering on the global issue is a vast subject to discuss. So today I'm just going to discuss about suffering from inside of us, and how can we end suffering when we're suffering, right? What do you think? What is suffering?
Well, it's discomfort.
It is, discomfort.
And uncertainty, and sometimes despair.
Mm-hmm. So suffering is an experience, right? It is an experience. You have to experience suffering to know that you're suffering, right? It's not just there. You experience the suffering. And when you say you suffer, what do you mean? What are you suffering? What you are experiencing when you suffer? When you think about uncertainty, is that suffering? Is that an experience? Or is that just an awareness of a state?
Well, uncertainty can be the fearfulness.
Yeah, so fearfulness is an experience, right? You feel fear, you experience fear, and fear leads to suffering, right? Fear itself is it suffering? Pain is suffering, yes.
Pain, whether physical pain, emotional pain, psychological pain.
Right.
I think when it's physical pain, sometimes you have less control.
Yeah.
Suffering is, how's it? It's losing control.
Right.
Of
Yes.
something.
So you experience pain, whether it's psychological pain, physiological pain, emotional pain, that kind of thing, and that is suffering.
There's also
discomfort.
There's also a comparative to, like, when you realize you're suffering, it's because you're comparing your current state to a previous state where you weren't suffering, right?
Yeah.
When things were better, and you find yourself now in a situation where maybe you're in pain, maybe you're fearful, maybe you're despair.
Right. So if you compare yourself to a state of happiness, right, then suffering is a state of unhappiness, of unpleasantness. It's not pleasant when you suffer, right? So when you recognize that you are suffering, how do you get yourself out of it?
Well,
do you want to stay in that state forever and just dwell on it, or Are you going to do something to get yourself out of it? How?
Well, we talked about that briefly last time we were there. It's just like you can be analytical and analyze why you're suffering.
So what do you mean by analytical?
Focus on the root causes.
So you return inside, or do you look outside for that analysis?
I think it's
to look at your own suffering.
I think it starts inside.
It has to be inside, right? Because if you look outside, then you will have the tendency to blame the outside conditions for your own feelings, right? But when you look inside, what does that do when you look inside? You understand yourself better. You understand why you feel that way. So when you have been analytical, it means that you're searching for the reason why, the root cause of your suffering, right? What caused suffering? So when you return inside, you look for the causes. Why is it that I'm suffering? What caused me to suffer? So let's say that you take a physical pain, right? And you have pain in your joints, or your pain in your abdomen, or your pain in the chest, or you have headaches. You look within, you will find the answer. Is that true? Is that true? I mean, if you have, okay, and with guidance also, right? So if you have pain in your joint, it tells you that your joint health is not optimal, right? Because if it is optimal, you wouldn't have pain. And if your joint health is not optimal, then what is causing it to be not optimal? Is it being affected by, some issues like infection, for example? Like Lyme disease lead to inflammatory pain in the joints, or fungal infection, mold, toxicity affect your joints because of the toxin being released. Or if you have abdominal pain from bacterial overgrowth, for example, there has to be a reason for that pain to come on. And if you search, you'll find, right? Once you find the answer of the cause of your suffering, what are you going to do about it?
Action.
You take action, yes. So you find a solution to get rid of your pain, right? Right? So that's the pathway to end your pain, is the pathway to end your suffering, right? So when you go on the search for the solution, there might be more than one solution. And you want to choose the right path, right? You have to choose the right path to get the optimal results. Because if you choose the wrong path, you may not get the optimal results. So I'm talking about, and if you're my patient, you'll know what I've been talking all along. So if you have physical pain, and we have traditional pathway, functional pathway, spiritual pathway, which pathway are you going to choose to end your physical pain?
Well, it could be more than one, right?
It can be more than one, or you can combine and, combine together and get the optimal result too. So it's spiritually, it's the same way. If you have emotional suffering, you want to choose the path that leads to optimal results. Now, let's say is anger suffering?
No, that's an option.
It's an emotion, but do people suffer as a result of being angry?
Well, anger leads to usually bad action.
Yes,
And
but
bad action
we define suffering as an experience of pain, unpleasantness. So anger leads to, anger is not pleasant at all for the people who are being angry and the people who receive that anger. It's unpleasant for both. So, you know, you can't be happy and angry at the same time. And if you can't be happy, then you are in an unpleasant state, and that is suffering, isn't it? Right? Yeah. But when you're angry, what is the natural reaction most people take when we are angry? Some people yell, shout, hit things and throw things and curse and swear. So that's one pathway. That's a natural pathway that a lot of us have experienced ourselves and have done it ourselves at some points. Is that the only way out of anger? So we're talking about releasing anger here, right? Releasing your anger. When you realize that your anger inside, it always starts with the thoughts, right? We talked about everything starts with a thought before it can be expressed as action. So when we start to have awareness of our thoughts and we know that we have anger issue, that is mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is an awareness of your senses. But if you don't take the right action, you won't get good result. You have the awareness of the thought, but then you take the wrong action, you get bad results. So if you yell, you throw things, you curse, you swear, what is the end result of that? No good result at all, right? Because a person who receives that anger, they're not going to respond in a kind way either unless they have mindfulness and awareness. They are going to be suffering, right? Yeah, they want to retaliate, and so it's just going on and on and on, and you can't break that vicious cycle. But if you are aware that you have anger inside of you, and you take action by practicing mindfulness, bringing in what have you thought? What have you learned about mindfulness meditation? What can you do when you practice meditation? You bring in compassion, right? So you want to push away the anger with love and compassion and forgiveness. So we've talked about all of these concepts during the mindfulness meditation. It's not easy to do. It's very easy to say, not easy to practice. But that's why we have to practice mindfulness meditation all the time to develop that skill to the point that one day, when you are aware of that moment that you're angry, you make the decision right away. You bring that compassion in right away. You look at the person you're angry at with compassion, and you choose to act differently.
You said something very important. In order to be able to have compassion and to forgive, you need to have sense of self. What I mean by that is that the world does not revolve around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in the world.
Yeah.
And so you cannot elevate yourself above all others. You have to kind of see yourself on the same plane as the people that may be causing yourself.
Yes, you see them on the same plane, or even put yourself lower.
I think that's a dangerous idea sometimes, because if you're in domestic violence or domestic abuse, you're already with someone who's putting you lower.
Yes.
Mm.
So if it's a domestic violence situation, you don't want to put yourself lower because you're
No.
already lower. You want to raise yourself.
Right. Well, what I mean here, put yourself lower here is not to have the ego. So put your ego down.
Yeah.
So you don't. I think even to the people who hurt you, you don't want to put your ego up high.
Well, no, because that can get you more hurt.
Yes. Yeah. So then, what? So put your ego down, not like put yourself down, like allow them to walk on you. That's not the way. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
You have to put your ego down.
I think there's a difference between crimes being committed against a person
Yeah.
and just normal, routine, non-criminal
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah. But if you think about it, we talked about tolerance last time too, and patience and tolerance. Sometimes we know that we have the legitimate reason to feel angry. You tolerate so much and they keep pushing your button. On one day you just explode. But no, I'm trying to say that you don't have to explode. You can still find a better solution to deal with it if you have that patience, the tolerance, and the mindfulness practice, that is already ingrained in you. Then you can choose a different action. So instead of exploding and yelling and arguing and getting really, really angry inside, you can just stay really calm, and you can say things in the calm way. It's easy for me to say that now I'm giving the talk, but it's not easy to do even for me. I'll probably experience that more than anybody, because I'm not always aware. Well, or even if I'm aware of my emotions, I'm not always making the right decision to act in a certain way either.
But we're all part of we're all human.
But yes, we are human, but lots of us give that excuse to behave badly. Oh, we're human. That's why I'm saying this practice that we are doing here is much needed for everybody. Because without this practice, we won't be able to change how we react, because we react as human and we give ourselves the excuse to act as human in the wrong way. Right.
To exacerbate a situation,
Yeah.
even if someone's doing harm,
Yeah.
because someone is maybe trying to get you
Yeah.
to react. So it's so
Right.
important to be mindful of who you are and
Right.
have self-awareness and have
Yeah.
self-confidence.
Yeah.
So no matter what anybody says to you,
Right.
they don't get that reaction
Right.
out of you,
Yeah.
to where you can stay clear-minded
Yeah.
to
You got
navigate
it.
out of a situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have it. So, but no, I mean, the majority of us don't have the skill. It is a skill. It is a skill, and that's why we have to practice this to get that skill. And when we have that skill, we can behave in a certain way that when we behave in the peaceful way, are we going to say, I I am human, or are you still a human? You
Well,
are
everyone's
still
a
human.
That's
Yeah.
an excuse.
So, you
Yeah.
no longer have that excuse. I'm human. Right? So I think mindfulness meditation helped us a lot. So when you look inside, you find the cause of your suffering. And the suffering, if you think about it, what causes suffering? Ignorance or lack of knowledge, right? Like we have physical pain with joint pain, muscle pain. It's because we don't have the knowledge, the medical knowledge of how to look after our physical body, right? Not even doctors don't have all the knowledge to look after themselves. Why is it that we have doctors who suffer from heart attack and stroke? So even doctors don't have all the knowledge. And that's why we need to learn all the time. The more knowledge we have, the more powerful we can be at looking after ourselves. Okay, so ignorance is lack of knowledge that leads to suffering, right? What else?
Avoidance, like projection.
Uh-huh.
Like you're suffering
Avoidance,
and you're
yeah.
projecting that onto somebody else, or like, which in my head goes along with avoidance, right? Like you're avoiding the real problem, so you're like projecting someone else's shortcomings.
Right. Yeah. But we just touched about anger. I mean, anger is the big cause of suffering, mentally and physically too. You look around all the sufferings and you analyze what caused suffering. A lot of suffering is caused by anger, right? And then the third one is greed. Greed.
Okay. Greed.
Yeah, wanting too much. Greed. And those three things will just stem out like branches. So these are three stems of the causes of suffering. And if you know these three stems, you get to cut here, you cut all the branches above. But if you cut the branches above and you still have these three stems, they will grow again, right? So when we know that inside of us, every time you have some suffering, like if we take about physical pain, it's probably mostly ignorance, lack of knowledge, right? Well, if you talk about emotional pain, probably the biggest one is anger. Right? Emotional pain is mostly stemming from anger. You're always angry at somebody, right? Angry. Why? Why does he do this to me? Why does she do this to me? Why does she not do this? Why does he not do this? Why? You're angry at that person. Yeah.
Is sometimes anger good though because it's a catalyst to change?
It's a form of communication.
Like is sometimes because it's like if you're in a bad situation, you're angry about it, so you're going to get out of that situation.
Yes. I mean,
does that make sense? Like not like behaving in an angry manner.
Yeah.
But internally being angry, like I deserve more than this. I'm angry about the situation. I want better for myself.
Right.
If it's a catalyst in that way, can anger be a good thing?
Anger is never a good thing.
Never a good thing. Okay.
Never a good thing.
Okay. Is that more like self-worth? I guess maybe that would be that category. Okay.
So I mean, anger is never a good thing. Let's say, okay, someone did something bad to you, right? Yeah, and you can be angry. You can be angry, and it's natural, like human reaction. But if you look at the situation and you have mindfulness going on, you won't have to be angry. Okay. But give me an example of what may make you angry.
Example.
Okay, so
Well, but I think to Katie's point, I mean,
mhm,
when you're angry, what you really need to have is communication with this other person that has
yeah,
frustrated you or whatever. And if you're communicating in anger, you're not going to hear the message.
Right.
yeah. Even when you don't communicate and you have that angry feeling inside, emotion inside of your body, it's not good. It's not good for yourself. If you think back about the experiments done by Dr. Komoto, I think it's the Japanese scientist.
Is that the water one?
Yeah, the water
icicles?
one.
Yeah.
The water one. I mean, just.
Yeah.
But our body is made up of at least 70% of water, and if you harbor that emotion in this inside of you, just not acting out, you feel it. You feel the anger inside. What does that do to that water?
It caused
It looks
angry
ugly.
patterns in
Yes.
the icicles, right? Yeah.
And then the cells cannot work in that environment.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
you see, having anger is not good in any form, any
Right.
reason.
Right.
So mindfulness meditation is going to help you to raise your awareness enough that you, when you're so good at it, you can just stop the anger, the emotion from surfacing.
I find even if
Yeah,
it's like
it's really hard.
yeah, and even if it's like a physical thing causing the anger, like sometimes like you get a whole histamine release and you're like, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
I got angry out of nowhere. Like,
Right.
and it's just a biological overhistamine
Yeah.
release, right? It's like just to be able to mindfully meditate and say, hold on, wait, like it's the barometric pressure, you're having histamine release. Like, did you take your supplements that help? Did you, like mindful meditation of like, hold on, wait, what's the fix here? To say like, no, this isn't really your mind. This is you can have control over this, but you have to calm down for a second.
Yes. So you bring in your mindfulness meditation
Problem
practice
solved,
instantly. Take deep breath and start to look at things in a different way. So you don't allow that anger to surface.
That happens to me sometimes too. With like, and I feel like I have part of my condition is I have a lot of like histamine release. And so then I'm like, did you take your liver supplement? Okay, no, you didn't. Well, you need to take your liver supplement, and then you feel a lot better.
Yep. So once you know the causes of your suffering and you find the path to end suffering, then you can end it, right? Yeah. So that's and mindfulness meditation helps you with that. When you have clarity of mind, awareness of your senses, right? Then you take the right action that will end your suffering. What is the better path? Okay. All right. Well, with that, let's do half an hour of meditation practice, and always use your breath to calm yourself down to get into your meditation. So let's assume a comfortable position. You can sit down, lay down, or stand up, or walk, and start to take a few deep breaths in and out. And if you find it more comfortable closing your eyes, then I invite you to close your eyes. Breathing in, we know we are breathing in. And breathing out, we know that we are breathing out. Breathing in, we know that we are breathing in very slowly and deeply. And breathing out, we know that we are breathing out slower than breathing in. And when we hold between in-breath and out-breath, we are aware that we are holding our breath. Relax, relax. This is the moment that we return to ourselves. Return to this present moment. We know where we are, what space we are in. We begin to raise awareness of our senses. How do we feel and how do we interact with our surroundings? Do we feel heavy? Do we feel light? What does the sensation between our body and the ground feel like? As we take deep breaths in and out, let's bring our attention to how we feel from the top of our head down to the toes. Pay attention to the muscles on our faces, muscles on our neck, shoulders, back, hips, legs, arms. What is our body feeling at this present moment? Deep breath in, slow breath out. This is the moment that we return to ourselves and be with ourselves. Who are we? Who am I? In this very present moment, are we in the state of peace or suffering? With each deep in-breath, I take in peace. Each slow out breath, I let go of suffering, unpleasantness. With each breath in, I take in love. With each out breath, I let go of dislikes and hatred. With each breath in, I take in compassion. And with each out breath, I let go of blame. Deep breathing in and slowly breathing out. With each minute of practice that goes by, we know that we are getting closer to a peaceful state and relaxed state. And that we are filled with more love and compassion, forgiveness, gratefulness for this present moment of peace. And knowing that the world is so full of suffering, by being peaceful in ourselves, we contribute to the peace of the world by start from within ourselves first. And if everyone practiced mindfulness and be in the state of peace, if everyone in this world is doing that, the world will be a peaceful place. So instead of worrying, we want to practice peacefulness and emit it out in the universe. Because worrying is not going to have any good results. We pray for peace for the world. And we take action by being peaceful from within ourselves. We contribute to reducing suffering of the world by first reducing suffering in ourselves. Deep breath in and slow breaths out. As you follow your breaths in and out, you are fully aware of what's going on inside your body, inside your minds. Deep breaths in and slow breaths out. With each in-breath, we take in all the goodness of all the positive attributes. With each long breath out, we let go of all of the negative emotions, negative thoughts, and ultimately, through the practice, we will hopefully get to a state of lightness. You feel so light that you feel like you're floating in the air and being part of the universe. And you just be in the state of being, nothing, nothing, nothing. We call this a state of emptiness. We're empty of anger, empty of fear, empty of anxiety, empty of wanting, even empty of self. Deep breath in. We know we're breathing in. Slow breaths out. We know we're breathing out. As we are sitting here in the state of peace, with no suffering going on in this present moment, we pray for the end of suffering in the world, just like us. May all sentient beings be at peace. May all sentient beings have happiness. May all sentient beings have vibrant health. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Return to this present moment. Return to this space. Return to ourselves. This very present moment, are we aware of what's going on? How do we feel? What senses we have? What thoughts we have? Are we fully aware of all the emotions that we are experiencing right now? Return to ourselves. Return to this present moment. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Follow your breaths. Be fully aware of your breaths. And start, open your eyes. Move your fingers and toes. You are. Hopefully that's a half an hour of mindfulness practice. How are you feeling? You feel relaxed? You feel at peace? You feel light? Yes? Yeah. So whenever you feel you're suffering, you just bring yourself back to the present moment and practice mindfulness, deep breathing. And then you can get yourself out of it. Okay? Let's do some stretching. Huh? So we will stand up because we've been sitting for a while there.
Maybe we'll stretch.
Yes. So deep breath in and stretch out your arms. Turn from side to side. Don't forget to breathe slowly and deeply. Arms up and arms down. Just do a few like that. Oh my God, I can feel the tingling in my feet. Unsteady. Okay, and then swing your body from side to side. Get that spine moving. Okay. Pat your shoulders if you want to. Give yourself some love. And move your legs up one at a time. Get your knees moving. You can actually, if you're steady, you can pull your knees to your chest like that too. Now this practice takes a lot of strength in your legs here and stability. See, it takes practice, yeah. But if you do this, as you get older, you won't have as much fall risk. But it takes practice because then your legs are so strong. When it's support, yeah? See, you can't support your body with one leg, but this is how you can tell if you have strength in your legs. Yeah? Okay, well, we can do a few rounds of walking meditation here. Okay. So this practice is important too. It just teaches us that we can be meditating in any position and in whatever we're doing at the present moment, right? Just be fully aware of what's going on within your body and your mind and the surroundings. So we can enjoy our breathing, enjoy our walk, feel the sensation of the feet touching the ground. Be aware of how our legs are moving. And just be happy in this present moment. Too often we look out and forget ourselves. But moments like this make us realize that we don't need much to be happy, to be healthy right in this present moment. Healthy mind, healthy body. We often have too much to worry about, too much to plan to do, and we don't have these moments like this very often unless we make it happen, right? And even the simple act of listening to this bell and follow the sound is such a peaceful thing to do. Do one more circle. Okay. Well, there's only 3 of us, so the sharing of experience session is going to be a bit short, but we can do some more discussion if you like. So, how has it been for you, this practice?
Oh, relaxing. And I think it's good for us and for anybody who's watching to think about suffering and why and how to approach it. For me, there's a spiritual element to it too. So, relying upon help from above.
Yep.
Help understand. Sometimes suffering comes on purpose to help us
Learn a lesson.
yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
And so in the Christian way of thinking, God never lets us suffer more than we can handle, and provides
And also, I do believe that, you know, through our suffering and the lessons that we've learned, we can, once we overcome that, we can use what we've learned to help other people. And I'm saying that because yesterday I was in the course, right? So learning about how to treat autoimmune diseases using functional medicine 2.0, the new curriculum. And all of the lecturers had suffered autoimmune diseases themselves and raised above it and be absolutely healthy today, right? And because they have gone through that experience, now they have the knowledge to pass on. So, you know, once we overcome our own problems, we can use that to help a lot of other people, just like these lecturers passing on the knowledge to us, and then we in turn pass on the knowledge to our patients, right? And then the patients get better, and then the patients are going to help other patients. So it's just like a ripple effect. So how was it for you, Katie?
Good. It was so relaxing. I was still asleep, but then suddenly I got the feeling to start stretching and moving.
Yeah.
Almost like it was like coming out of freeze mode and like wanting to invite movement. If that makes, like, not in an anxious way, but in an energy.
You're aware of your body's need.
Yeah, in like an energy positive way. Like it's time to start moving.
Yes.
Sorry.
Adapt.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. I don't know if Hal fell asleep or not, but I thought he was snoring.
I was asleep too.
I see.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I told myself.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. Some people may feel that sleep is a state of meditation. I'm not sure about that, because what we learn is that meditation is a state of awareness, and you have to be alert to be aware. When you are asleep, your subconscious mind is active, right? But your conscious mind is not. So with that, I know I myself felt this session was a very good session for me also. I feel very relaxed, and I reflected upon the events that happened during the week, and just, reflect upon the concept of emptiness too. I mentioned that, the concept of emptiness. A little bit. It's a very difficult concept to discuss, but we'll go into it slowly, one bit at a time. Well, I wish everybody a very, very peaceful weekend. Hopefully everybody will feel very happy, very healthy, and very aware. And go out there and enjoy the weekend. So thank you for joining me here and online. Namaste.